Sisters and brothers, our East Torch flame. Sisters and brothers, our East Torch flame shall feed the glow, harmony gain. Shall feed the glow, harmony gain. Peace run, peace run, peace run, peace run. Peace run, peace run, peace run, peace run. Peace run, peace run, peace run, peace run. Peace run, peace run, peace run, peace run.
Bod rai bobl yn galw hwn yn ei man gweithio, ei swyddfa, ei cynefin arferol. I'm now going to introduce two people who are going to say a few words who have the pleasure to call this their working environment and their office and the place where they invest so much time and love. They're going to explain a bit about the Treborth Botanic Garden and accepting the statue on its behalf. I'd like to call forward Natalie Chivers, curator of the garden, and Sarah Edgar, who is chair of the Friends of Treborth.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming here today. To be honest, we've not heard much about the Peace Run before, and I was sitting in my office one Friday afternoon and Tamsin and John popped their heads round, and the first thing they said was, "We're in love with Treborth!" And I thought, well, that's such a lovely thing to hear on a Friday afternoon. Me too! And they explained where they've come from and all about the Peace Run. And you know, I'd had a really busy day, and actually it was one of the most loveliest things to hear in an afternoon that you want to be here, because we love it. We love it here, and we've never had anything like this at the garden, and certainly not a lasting memory, a statue. And so I immediately started thinking, gosh, where's it going to go? What should we do? And I walk this path every day with my partner and my dog. We work in this woodland, and I thought, oh, it could go anywhere. And then I was walking with actually the chaps who put this statue in, and I said to them, where do you think this should go? And one of them said, here. Look at that lovely view. But this area here is actually about 5 foot in brambles, so I think we've got a bit of work to do. Myself, the volunteers, my students have worked really hard to get this area ready, and the contractors have done the most wonderful job to get the statue here and the board done, one of our local designers. And we just feel really lucky and really humbled that runners, dog walkers, cyclists, even horse riders are going to come through here, hold this torch, and read a little bit about the garden and our ethos, which is not too dissimilar from yours, and hopefully sit and contemplate and enjoy the space. So thank you so much for allowing the Peace Run to be here.
The Friends of Treborth Botanic Garden have been involved here for over 20 years, but I want to mention particularly the work that has been done in this area, in this woodland. Those of you who might have come down here 15 years ago or so would have seen a very different place. It was full of laurel and rhododendron, it was dark, it was gloomy, the path along here was a mud bath. After the rain we've had, we'd all be wearing wellies today, I can tell you, to come down here. And one or two volunteers here, Jerry over there was one of the leading lights, thought let's try and get a bit more light into here. So they started slashing away at the laurel and rhododendron. They then brought in more volunteers. They then worked with other organisations to get grants in. So we had a Forestry Commission, as it was then, gave us a 5-year grant under the Better Woodlands for Wales scheme. The Countryside Council for Wales, as it was then, gave us a management agreement grant clear some of the rhododendron that was going down the hill there that we couldn't get to as volunteers. The local authority who decided this would be a good part of the Wales Coast Path improved this path here and put a decent surface on it. And gradually, over the years, with all these people working together, we have, I think, achieved a fantastic transformation of this area. It's become a place which is beautiful, where we have these fantastic views, which is enjoyed by runners, dog walkers, as Natalie says. And why I think this is so appropriate for this lovely statue is that that has all been achieved by people working together with a common vision and a common aim. And that's something which has very much been what Trebyth is all about. University staff, volunteers, organisations working together to achieve something. And that seems to me that's what the Peace Run organisation is all about as well. So, you know, welcome to Trebyth, and I'm sure that that common ethos is something which is very special to all of us. Thank you.
It is an honour, as Natalie has said, and a great pleasure to accept the statue here. My technical position is director of the garden, which means fundraising. I have to say I had nothing to do. I was in India a couple of months ago when this suddenly started to happen, this peace statue, and I came back to find that it had gone through, and very pleased to come down here and actually see the statue. I've seen it, not with the cover on. Really fantastic, and it is going to add greatly to what we have here at the garden. Some of the top experts in the world, Kew Gardens, Royal Botanic Gardens, Edinburgh, some of the top gardens, China, North America, the directors have all been here and said, we've got a treasure, a real jewel here in this garden. We had no art objects, no sculptures, no features. This is the first one. And what a great number one to have in our garden, right on the Wales National Coast Path, as a potential spot for people to come and relax and have a little bit of contemplation and meditation here in an area where that flat spot here, the National Coast Path officer is very keen that we have a bit of a viewpoint here of the Menai Strait. We think we might get permission to take some of the scrappy old pine trees that don't belong here to open up the view a little bit. So fantastic, thanks very much for this amazing gift. We will certainly treasure it, and I will indeed personally. Thank you.
The unveiling will be done by Lord David Ellis Thomas, a former president of Bangor University, who ultimately own and run these gardens. David.
Diolch yn fawr, it's been my great privilege and pleasure to greet the Peace Run for many years. I'm thinking especially today of when we met in the other botanic garden of Wales in Llanarthne, in the National Botanic Garden, which it falls to me as a member of the Welsh Government to be responsible for its funding. And it's a great delight to me whenever I visit the garden to have a little conversation, as you do, with these statues. And so, what a better place than here, overlooking the Menai Strait. And one other point I would like to make before I will unveil it officially in the other official language, in Welsh, for the avoidance of doubt. I just wanted to say a very important point was made in our speeches earlier. I think it was made by Sarah, that the condition of this place is no accident. It is the result of human labour, and it is a result of working with nature. And I think there is a very important lesson there. Now, later this week, today is a Sunday, it's a Sunday morning, it's a very appropriate thing that I should not be in the cathedral at Bangor this morning, but I should be in this cathedral, Treborth, in the woods. Later on this week I shall be dressing up, not exactly as a druid, but we do wear white robes and green robes and blue robes at the National Eisteddfod. And what happens during the major ceremonies of the National Eisteddfod is a question is asked, and I will ask it now in Welsh, and I will ask you all afterwards to answer it with me. The question is there peace? How is heddwch? And the answer is heddwch. Heddwch, it's the word peace. And that will happen next week, so this week. So there is an important connection there. How is heddwch? Heddwch!
Yes, my name is David Ellis Thomas. I'm the Deputy Minister for Culture, Tourism and Sport in Welsh Government. That's my day job. But I really enjoy particularly being in environments like this and enjoying nature and seeing us through sculpture and other forms of art, enhancing a little of the pleasure that people have in walking in these woods in areas like this. Now we have a family of statues in different parts of Wales. I'm really delighted that there will be a statue. There is a statue here. There is a statue at the bottom of Snowdon near the lake in Llanberis. And there is a similar botanic garden which I have a responsibility for as a Minister in Welsh Government, the National Botanic Garden of Wales. And there we have a statue very prominently in that garden as well. So people can hear and see the peace message as they enjoy the very special environment in these gardens.
We are the oneness and fullness of tomorrow's sun. Run, 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 world harmony run. Run, 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 world harmony run. We are the oneness and fullness of tomorrow's sun. We are the oneness and fullness of tomorrow's sun.
So we've been running with this torch since 1987, and we visited more than 150 countries, and along the way we've visited 27,000 schools. And each one of those children has held this torch and made a wish or a prayer for peace, and we carry that in our torch and in our hearts as we continue running. But we'd like to introduce our runners to share with you where they're all from. And okay, I'll begin. My name's Shalil and I'm from Australia.
Zuzka, Czech Republic.
Petra, Czech Republic.
Pauli from Edinburgh, Scotland.
Andrzej, Czech Republic, Prague. I'm Bertram Van from Bristol. Jacob, Czech Republic.
Jana, Czech Republic.
Martina from Bristol. Davila from Edinburgh.
Olga, Czech Republic.
Ashanti from Germany.
Shishwara from England.
Balavan from London.
William from Slovakia.
Peter from Prague, from the Czech Republic.
Okay, thank you.
Yn y ffordd anarferol a dychmygus yma, ac mae'n fraint ac yn bleser gen i fi'ch groesawu chi yma heddiw. Llongyfarchiadau chi gyd am eich ymdrychion dros heddwch i'r byd. As chairman of Gwynedd County Council, I'm very happy to welcome the peace run back to the county. When you meet people like us here today, you pass around your flaming torch, you offer the opportunity for so many people to make a personal wish for peace. I understand that this year the peace run is concentrated on the southern hemisphere. So what we are welcoming here today is a weekend delegation, but it is very short time you have here. Many of you have run up Snowton and back yesterday with a peace torch. I admire your discipline and enthusiasm. I congratulate you all individually. Gwynedd supports your endeavours and commitment to striving a better, more peaceful world in this unusual and imaginative way. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here today. Congratulations to you all for your efforts for world peace. A rwan dwi'n deall bod y cyfle I afael yn y torch heddwch. And now I understand that we will have an opportunity to hold the peace torch.
Bod y cerflunydd ei hun yn ein plith heddi hefyd. Caefalia Torpi, the sculptor of this peace statue, is here with us. So I'm sure you'd like to show your appreciation for his work.
I'd like to begin and end by sharing with you a quote by Sri Chinmoy. World peace, world harmony. These are not mere dictionary words. These are realities, divine realities, supreme realities. And I think we feel that here today, that peace is not something, it's not merely a word, but it's something that we feel deep within our hearts. And we feel it in nature. We feel it when we achieve something, we go beyond ourselves. We feel it with our loved ones. And we feel it here. And that's a significant thing. More importantly, it's important to remember to find that within ourselves and to share that with everyone we come in contact with.
You know, running is great. You just run for a mile and you finish and you go, wow, that felt great. Yeah. So that's, I think that's kind of what Sri Chinmoy had in mind, was to sort of get back to the basics of humanity, and running is a really good way to do that. You don't really need anything except a pair of shoes. And also I think he really wanted to unite people from all different religions, all different cultures, to sort of communicate the fact that there's this common essence inside each one of us at a really deep level, this yearning for peace. Yeah.
I was getting a little bit wise. Yeah, well. isn't he?